Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we dust off those old SEC filings and try to make sense of the numbers so you don't have to. Today we're cracking open Gold Rock Holdings' latest quarterly report. I know, sounds about as thrilling as watching paint dry, but trust me, there's usually something interesting hidden in these documents. Maybe some weird deals, maybe some risky bets, or maybe just plain bad numbers. Let's see what's in store. In this video, we will go over the financials, see what the company is up to, and try to get a sense if it is going to succeed or not. Credit before we start, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below, so come join us to chat more. In this video, we will go over the financials, see what the company is up to, and try to get a sense if it is going to. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below, so come join us to chat more. Gold Rock Holdings, they've been around for a while and have changed their business a few times, from affordable homes to composite materials and green energy. They describe themselves as provider of engineering and construction management services. In 2023, they made a change to acquire technological assets. First things first, this is a 10Q form. It's basically a quarterly checkup that publicly traded companies have to file with the Securities and Exchange Commission. It includes financial statements and management's discussion on how the company is doing, controls and procedures, and various legal disclaimers. Let's jump straight into the numbers, starting with the balance sheet, which is a snapshot of what the company owns and owes. At the end of March of 2025, Gold Rock had about $205,000 in cash, and they report about $44,000 in cash, and they report about $44,000 in accounts receivable, money owed to them. So their total current assets, things that can quickly turn into cash, are around $249,000. Total current assets, things that can quickly turn into cash, are around $249,000. On the other side of the balance sheet, they had about $4,250 in accounts payable, bills they need to pay, and then a pretty big jump up to $149,000 in accrued board of director and officer compensation. That's money they owe to their executives and board members. It is a very large amount of their debt. This brings their total liabilities, things they owe, to roughly $123,000. So after all is said and done, their total equity or net worth sits at about $96,000, a somewhat concerningly low number. Now let's switch over to the income statement. This tells us how much money the company made or lost over the last 3 months. For the first 3 months of 2025, Gold Rock managed to bring in about $67,500 in sales, comparing it to the same period last year where they show 0 sales. So that is a nice step up. Operating expenses, which include advertising, compensation to board and consultants, and general administration, came out to around $406,000. You will notice that compensation to board of directors and consultant fees are making up for the large part of the expense, and advertising isn't getting that much attention, which is interesting. Taking into account the $67,500 in sales, the net loss for the period was about $79,000. That's less than $1,500 in sales. The net loss for the period was about $79,000. That's less than the loss of over 16s, and advertising isn't getting that much attention, which is interesting. Taking into account the $67,500 in sales, the net loss for the period was about $79,000. That's less than the $1,500. In sales, the net loss for the period was about $79,000. That's less than the loss of over $65,000 from the same time last year. Breaking it down per share, the loss is basically nothing, 0 cents per share. That is because they have so many outstanding shares that any gains or losses would be very small on per share basis. Now let's take a quick look at the cash flow statement. This tracks the movement of cash both into and out of the company. They used up about $4,300 in operating activities during the first 3 months of 2025. This is due to net loss of $79,000, but a reduction in accrued board of directors officer compensation. Last year they used almost $92,000. They have basically no investing activities. In financing, there isn't much either, with a stark difference compared to last year, where they got $350,000 from selling stock. This leads to a decrease in cash of about $4,300. Looking at the equity that we already talked about with $96,000 on one side, the company reports that it had $105,000 at the start of the year, and it lost around $80,000 during the 3 months. So what exactly is Gold Rock doing? Well, they're trying to pivot into the tech space and have developed a Web3 content management system, a new monetization model. This model is designed to empower individuals with compelling stories to monetize their relationships beyond traditional influencer direct-to-consumer model. Using Web3 to manage collectibles and fan engagements, Creating personalized avatars for the youth market and leveraging enterprise clients with their platform, a kind of software as a service. The management also admits that preparing these financial statements requires them to make estimates and assumptions. It also sounds a bit like a warning. Here's a big red flag. Goldrock's auditors are raising serious doubts about the company's ability to continue as a going concern. With a big accumulated deficit, they might not be able to stay afloat without some serious changes or a major cash infusion. That depends on the company's ability to generate revenue and obtain financing. Time to check out who's doing deals with whom. So a director paid one of the company's invoice for $700. This amount will not be reimbursed to the director. There's also a consulting agreement with a board member for a monthly fee. Some board members are getting paid in common stock. They also utilize the services of a company which is controlled by a member of the board of directors, who is getting press release and filling services at no cost, which is always great. They're authorized to issue a lot of shares. Almost 1 billion common shares and 50 million preferred shares. They have designated a certain amount of preferred shares to Series A. They have voting rights equal to 25 common stock votes and some liquidation rights, but no dividend or conversion rights. Loot 8, Goldrock subsidiary, entered into a sponsorship agreement with a consultant to the University of Houston. Then they terminated it, but they're trying to continue with some kind of sponsorship. In terms of customers, they mentioned that they have sales with 2 customers. It seems that the internal controls over financial reporting were not effective as of March 31, 2025. This means that something might be wrong with controls in their financial reporting process. They didn't notice any significant changes to their internal controls. At this time, there are no materials pending legal proceedings. This is always good for the company. During 2024, they sold a bunch of unregistered shares. This means that they didn't register the stock sales with the SEC. Finally, the exhibits. The company provides here certifications of the information. What's my take on Goldrock Holdings? Well, it's a bit of a mixed bag. On one hand, they've managed to generate some revenue after a period of no sales. The problem is the expenses. They have high executive compensation. And the warning about them possibly not being able to continue as going concern is bad sign. Their pivot into tech and Web3 is interesting, but it's still early days. The recent focus on AI-driven solutions could be promising if they can execute well. So it may be a long shot. Alright, that's our breakdown of Goldrock's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.